What's up, SMR people? We're back with, we don't know what it's going to be, but we're going to be talking about Supermoto. Right now, we got the boys playing some MX bikes on a track created by none other than our own Johnny Bang. What's up, Johnny?
What's up, Butters?
Not a whole lot. So you made US Air in MX bikes. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, first go at it. Never really did much like this before. Just watched some of Lynn's videos and gave it a try. Bronson kind of helped me into it because he did Tucson first, and he was like, "Come on, just try it." And I took a
Well,
shot at it,
I mean,
and
the elevation that it takes to recreate US Air, that's got to be so hard to do as your first.
yeah, had a lot of problems with this track, like molding like certain sections to like make the bike do what it typically would, on the
Right.
track. Like, even that G out, it's not right. Like I spent a lot of time on it, and it was so hard to get just dialed in.
Yeah. We got Dawson, Dawson, tossing
What up?
bikes in the river.
That's what I'm good at. Throw my life away into creek beds.
Are you on a YZ125 or a 250?
Oh, 125.
Hell yeah. And then
It's a
we
struggle
got
bus.
the Simp and Samp here.
What up, folks?
Oh my god. I caught
No
you
way, you
crashed.
just... No way. Right, just... Stop looking at me! That's gonna be short.
And then I like,
Don't worry.
Johnny, you made it to where the dirt section, as it deforms, it gets more and more traction because like you made more of like almost like an asphalt layer underneath, right?
Right. Get like I wanted to simulate
acts
like
like
Blue Groove.
Hell
Yeah. And so it's like real slick on top at first, and starts getting better as you eat into it.
Yeah, I'm not into it yet.
Are you running soft
Rough go
tires?
at her. Yeah.
Are you on a 250?
350.
Go down to a 250.
I like the dirt as we come back out onto the asphalt here. I mean, that's how it is in real life. A lot of times when we're riding this track, it's a cool little unique thing that you never really see on this game.
Yeah, I'm on my third one now. And lately I've just been using like 3D scans and photo telemetry.
Uh-huh.
So I'm trying to get that figured out so that we can, every track we hit, I can try to capture it and maybe put it in game eventually.
Right.
I'm trying to use like the data from like GoPros and some of the drone shots we have from Tucson, put some stuff together. Unreal Engine has a free version of it.
Nice slide, Simpy.
Yeah. Well, I struggle with that section. I have too much power, so it just wants to pull up so hard.
So Butters, let's talk about nations. So we went in 23.
Yeah.
The team was Bronson, you, Butterman, and Nikki Reimer.
Mm-hmm.
We finished with what, a 9th as a team, or 10th?
10th.
10th. Yeah. And plans were to go this year in 24, and some things have fallen apart, an injury and whatnot. Can you tell us a little bit about like how it all kind of started to look and location and?
Yeah. This year the race is in Paris. It's at the Kroll circuit that's just outside of there's like I think it's the main airport for Paris. I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head right now. But Maz with PMA, he was really stoked on last year, and he also has just grown to love us dudes that he raced with over here in America and would like to give us a chance to go and race at that level. And Nations is such a cool race because it is such a unique race with the 3 motos and the 3-rider format and stuff. It's just such a cool, unique experience. So we wanted to do it again. A lot of people stepped up and were in the kind of to support the team just like they did last year in Italy. The main thing that was going to be different this year was with the race being in France, there was going to be substantially more cost involved and stuff. So that right away kind of, it makes it hard because Supermoto is smaller in the U.S. A lot of us guys, they even have support. It's not all that easy to take it on and stuff. So we looked at fielding Jake LaForge, looked to be on the team at one point, and ultimately he stepped down just because he was worried about if he could actually financially do it, even if sponsors came in and whatnot. So he stepped down, and then we asked Shane Narbonne. Shane said he was focused on the Daytona 200 effort and stuff. I'm not sure if exactly why they don't want to do it, but then again, the team was going to look like it was going to be the same thing as it was last year. Me, Bronson, Nikki, because the three of us were willing to put in our own money at the end of the day to make sure it happened, no matter what we raised fundraising for the event. Nikki's already over there, so that kind of makes it easy. Bronson was going to go over and be a wild card at a couple GPs, so he wanted to do Nations again if possible. I was down to give it another go just because it was such a badass experience. I learned so much over there. It was mind-blowing seeing the level over there. It's crazy and stuff. But then I got hurt at the NAS qualifier in Colorado 2 weeks ago, and I don't know the extent of the damage to my shoulder. I'm definitely not anywhere close to being on a bike and stuff, so I had to say I'm out, and then that looks as though it might have been part of the catalyst that sunk the team this year and stuff. So
what's the typical how do they usually pick the riders that get to go? Like, what was the difference between last year and this year on like who the riders might be, who was picked, and who's eligible?
So last year, since it is a FIM event and we have to have the AMA do our licensing and stuff, so they are the ones that handle like all the stuff. Like, you have physicals you need to do, all this different stuff for the FIM licensing, and it's like a 1 weekend license, or even if it's a full series stuff. The AMA is like your sanctioning body. That's like your step to be able to, like, you cannot have the FIM license without being an AMA member and stuff. So last year with the AMA Supermoto series going on and the AMA having to sign off on it, it ultimately was like Alex Mock's decision on who the riders were and stuff. And we kind of came to him and we're like, we want to do this. This is what we're looking at doing. And it kind of just worked out. Like, everything just fell in place so easy last year. It really just, I don't know how to explain it. Everything went so well, and it all just kind of fit in. Like, Bronson wasn't really, he was doing the whole S1 championship, and he came over here and he won the race in Sturgis. So then that kind of was easy to be like, well, he's winning AMA events. Nicky was leading the championship. I was chasing him. So it was just kind of easy to say, boom, 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 here we go. And again, it was like one of those things where we were willing to put money in when I do feel like a lot of guys aren't. Stuff like us racers in the pro class can be, I don't know, we can let our egos get in our way a lot of times.
Yeah, for sure.
Stuff, but it's I don't know. It's about, I think we're gonna try to take the opportunity to shop support for a nation's effort from America earlier this year, because it is hard to like kind of go to sponsors and be like, we don't know exactly who the team is and stuff, but we need to do that before budgets are finalized, you know, because if we come to them mid-year and go, this is who the team is going to be this year, can you support us? Most companies are going to have their budgets filled up, and that's going to be really hard to get anything done. So I think if we can sell it more as like, there's going to be, say, 10 candidates that are going to be the top guys in America that you could shop out now and be like, we're looking to have a team. These are possible candidates for it. We don't know. We'll know at this date, but maybe get, because I think most companies would like to see the U.S. field a team at an event like that and stuff. And I would like to see our best guys go ultimately and stuff. Like, I don't necessarily feel like I'm the best guy. I feel like LaForge was a better pick over me. Shane, you could argue, is a better pick over me. Obviously, McAllister, if you could get him back on a bike, Hoffman, those type of dudes, it would be really cool to see. And I think Nick is, I think you got to put him at the top of the American talent pool right now. Stuff like, I don't know if LaForge and Shane, the guys racing SMEC, would agree with that statement, but having raced all of them, I kind of feel like Nicky's on top right now.
Well, yeah, he's been putting a lot of time in.
Yeah, and he's a much
so-
different rider than he used to be over here, you know. I think a lot of people think of him as who he was growing up, and all of us watched Nicky come up from a little kid, you know.
Right.
And now he's gone over to the World Championship and been like, "Oh, real speed looks a lot different." Shit.
And it's a bummer that we don't get to like see the contrast in like, with Dustin or Gage not being around anymore, because they were like the markers, they were the fastest guys.
True. Yeah, when you don't have that, almost that handing of the baton, in a sense, to
Right.
like really say. But that's always hard too, because it's like, I don't know. I see it with my career being as long as it's been and being at the pro level for 17 years. I wouldn't say, I say there's days where I'm on my best, but then there's plenty of days where I'm not. And when I was younger, it was those days were few and far between. It was like you were always able to come to your peak and stuff. So it's hard to say, like, you could have Dustin and those guys come out now and maybe they're on their A game and they kill it and they can still prove they're number one, and maybe they're chilling. But I think it's always hard. It's like optimally to get everyone on their best day. That'd be the sickest thing to see, but it's like, I think the most impossible thing to do. Because like out of all, like, you go back in the day, like Fillmore, Henry, Wardy, even the Australian, he's back over here. Why can't I think of his name right now? He's back
McLean?
over here racing Indians and snow. He was before McLean's time.
Kunzel?
No, he was German, dude.
Oh. I don't know.
Troy
Other-
Herfoss. He was like
Herfoss.
an OG dude. He did it back in the day, like I think from like the second or third year of the AMA Supermoto, like 04, 05 was his first year, and he did it on like Huskies back when they were still a weird brand. They weren't KTM's yet. And then he got a factory KTM ride, and that dude was savage on Supermoto. And he's back over here racing like the Indians and stuff in America this year. But I would like to see someone like him at his peak and mash him with today's talent, you know, and stuff. Does it, like, that's always like, it's like that same in motocross. Would Carmichael compete with Tomac, you know, on their best day?
Right. It's just so hard to compare, especially with bikes and whatnot, in motocross at least.
Yeah.
Technology hasn't jumped too far in the last few years, but you guys are running TMs with, different offsets and whatnot.
Oh yeah, and that was one thing, like going over to Europe and seeing like how a lot of times our American bikes are just a real redneck version of a Supermoto. Like being able to ride for RSR for 7 years, and they were kind of like the top team around because they had the best guys. And Joe put together good bikes. Simply, did you really just disqualify yourself?
I had the clutch in. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I told you that new hack for the shit on the next bikes. But like Joe built good bikes and they were solid, but they were just like motocross bikes, full length suspension, stock fork bottom, lugs, stock swing arms, and stuff. And then I went and rode the TM over in Europe, and it was like it had so much front end traction, I didn't even know how to deal with it. And then I come back here and I'm like, I can't even get any traction on my front end. What the hell?
Oh.
Jesus.
You guys gonna be able to get a start going?
No, I just left it neutral. I'm just gonna plan on
Yeah,
kick it into gear
yeah,
as soon as the
exactly.
light changes.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. Sorry, boys.
So put fresh tires on.
So, the injury that took you out, who took you out?
That's what we want. I mean, that's the bit of the. I don't really want to talk shit, but it was so in Colorado. There was a new guy that I'd never really seen before, but he was pretty quick. I think he comes from flat track. He might have some road race experience too. I'm not sure. I know he's primarily a flat tracker and stuff. And I was on my Stark too, so I don't know if the Stark played a part into it. This is not going to work as it goes.
It's weird. Like I can't even use my clutch, which is weird.
You haven't even done the the hack.
I didn't even do the clutch. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah, back in Colorado.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so we went up to Colorado for the NAS qualifier. I recently got a Stark, which is super sick. I love that thing. I put wheels and a brake on it and stuff because I was trying to see if like it had triple clamps similar to something I built before, but they're different. It's like a mash between a KTM and a Yamaha. And anyway, I just left stock triples, stock suspension, just put a Behringer brake and wheels on it. And we went up there. I only had one set of tire warmers, so I had them on the 450, and then I went out on the Stark with no tire warmers on, gave it a couple laps. Poor Dawson here had to ride behind me the first lap and just get stuck behind me on the asphalt for like a couple laps while I tried to figure out a pace.
Yeah, it was quite an experience. You're still faster, so I'm gonna give that to you.
Whereas the closing speeds or anything like on the asphalt weird with the Stark, how it could like, I felt like I couldn't carry mid corner speed, but I could like rocket out of things.
You could get out of corners really good. It thinks ship, but like mid corner I could kind of.
Yeah.
But as soon as you hit the apex and are on it, yeah, different ball game.
Yeah, I felt like I had no front end traction on the Stark, so or limited compared to like my 450 being set up with like Supermoto valve suspension and good offset clamps and stuff. So compared to that, I felt like I couldn't really push without the front end risk and tucking. So, and then once I got a couple laps in, the tires started to heat up. I started to move through the field, and then on the final lap of that race, I caught the dude in the lead, and I made a pass in the second dirt section. Johnny Dawson stayed on track somehow.
I don't know how.
And with 2 corners to go on the asphalt, I kind of ran like inside line on both corners just to protect. And I mean, most of us all have a bunch of time at IMI because it's kind of one of the closest tracks for all of us. And a guy came in on the last corner and he really wanted to win, and he pinned it to the inside, like more inside than I've ever seen anyone go on that corner. And it was like the asphalt was green over there. It had no traction, and he sent it in so hot that he had like no chance. Like he didn't even get beside me and just slid out, tossed his bike right into the side of me. I high-sided harder than I went into the ground harder than I ever have gone into the ground, and it was brutal. I'm really thankful it wasn't worse. I'm really stoked on the Bell Moto 10 because I don't feel like I have really any concussion symptoms, and I know I smacked my head hard. I mean, I'm sure I probably have somewhat of a concussion, but not from all the concussions I've had over the years. It's nothing like that. None of the symptoms that I usually have. Like I got a black eye and everything from it. So I smoked my head pretty good, but it's like my chest, ribs are broken or cracked, and my shoulder was out. My right knee was already fucked up from another injury. so I'm just beat up right now.
So you boys got to go do Supermoto USA out in, where was that? The state fairgrounds?
Yeah, Roseville, California. Like kind of like Sacramento area. You guys, Simpy, you're gonna have to let them fucking catch up, dude.
Hey. I'm just putting them in, brother. I don't know what to tell you. We flowing.
Yeah, so Brock McAllister, he's put on Supermoto races in the U.S. longer than anybody has. He took a break last year from doing promoted events and stuff, but this year he held a NAS qualifier during the county fair in Roseville, and it was pretty sweet. Like the track was a 3rd mile banked oval and stuff, like car track. In the infield of it, he got to build a dirt section, and he called it a Super TT, and he got a purse together, and he had a class for dirt trackers, a class for supermoto bikes, and it really was a Super TT in a sense. I wasn't sure like why exactly he was calling it that and stuff, but I could see it once we got there. The dirt section was mellow enough to where the dirt trackers weren't going to be at a disadvantage compared to the supermotos. And maybe the infield dirt section was almost an advantage to the dirt trackers. And then the asphalt kind of catered. And when I first saw it, I thought, oh, this is tight. We might have problems with dirt trackers on this track on Supermotos. I should have brought reins, is what I thought when I saw the track. But it ended up riding a lot faster than it looked, and for how tight it was. And then being at a fair, it was super cool. There was a crowd in the stands. He had a super good announcer there that was able to hype up the crowd. And I think that's huge too. You can't just have anyone announce it and be able to get the crowd into it and be able to talk good about the racing and the racers themselves. Stuff. Bronson was there, Jake Thompson, a bunch of like some OG dudes like Drew Dixon were there. Timmy V made the trek, and so the pro class we had like 20 dudes, and it was really good turnout. The pits were packed. It was rad to see. I haven't seen a supermoto race that packed in a long time, so that was really neat. It was hot though. Man, was it hot. It was like 105 with some humidity. It was brutal. So
Who won it?
Bronson won. I was hoping to give him more of a run than I did, but just we were both around the same pace, and I would start in the back, and he made his way out front better than I did. He had check out.
And local boy Keegan Fitzgerald had a pretty good showing out there, didn't he?
Oh yeah, no, Keegan actually rode really well. I think probably the best I'd ever seen Keegan ride. So like they did it, the way he did it, like, and how it was also like the super TT aspect of it was there was a purse for the dirt track, there was a purse for the supermotos, and then the top guys from each class got pulled into a super final, and that's where a majority of the purse would be paid out for the event. So in the supermoto final stuff, it was a quick like 6-lap fast dirty race and stuff, and the launch into the first turn was super tight, and it was almost like this concrete strip that they had laid for the finish line on the car oval and stuff, and it was like wide, a couple feet wide, painted, checkered, and it was so slick. So like entering it, launching and entering that was like crazy and stuff. Like it was so easy, like so many dudes tucked the front over this thing. So like going into turn one was always gnarly, and Timmy V tucked under Bronson going in the first corner, tagged him, tried to get him out of the way and stuff. And Bronson, I mean, he's hard to move and stuff, but he was able. And Keegan came from behind me on the second row, and because Timmy was pushing everyone wide, he was able to sneak up, and Keegan got into the lead with like within 2 corners. It was nuts and stuff. And then he starts like checking out, and then Timmy was in second. Bronson took like, I think he got him around him like the first lap or so, and then he set off after Keegan, and I got around Timmy, and then me and Bronson were behind Keegan, and it took a couple laps to find a way, and Bronson was able to like exit this flat track corner and get power to the ground, which I don't know how he was able to do it. Like no one else I saw could get power to the ground in this area, and he was able to get beside and beyond Keegan down this straightaway out of it and make the pass. And it was just sick. And I was like, well, I want to make a pass there. I tried doing it. I couldn't even get beside Keegan doing it. So I could not get the power to the ground like Bronson was doing. So his flat track background and stuff, he's able to get the power to the ground so well. And then I was all over Keegan. I was yelling at him, and he was running so good, like I could not find a way around him and stuff. Like he was just ripping. And on the penultimate lap, I was able to make a pass on him and run it up the inside in the asphalt and go. And then my dumb ass was like, all right, I got clear track. White flag came out, and I was like, I want to see if I can eat some of this gap that Bronson made. And just to see it, like I want for like my own ego to see if I could close it, you know. And then I freaking tucked the front in the dirt and crashed on the last lap.
Yeah.
And let Keegan back by. I almost let Pecoraro back by, dude. Austin was out there, and he was ripping. He was right on my ass the whole moto. Like he was coming through the field with me. I could hear him all over me when I was trying to get by Keegan, and then Keegan barely got back by me. I had to move over on the track just to pretty much pinch Austin off when I picked my bike up. Like I picked my bike up quick, and I still almost lost the podium. And so like at the line, Austin was right there.
Was it a pretty good turnout, like as far as rider count goes?
Yeah, there was like 80 riders, I want to say, with like 120 entries. So like they had a bunch of us ran 2 classes. Like I ran the vet class, they had 3 vet classes. There was a dude running like the vet 50 class on an old YZ 400, and it was sick. It was like mint looking YZ 400 with 17s on it. Dude was my hero. And they had women's class. Or I think I don't know if they had a women's specific class, but there was a couple women out there. And then they had like dirt track classes, supermoto classes, vet classes, kids classes. Then they had Sunday was just straight up just kids. They had STASIC stuff for people to try at the fair, for kids just to get on STASIC for the first time. They had race classes for the STASICs. They had classes for 50s, 60s, and stuff. So Sunday was all for the kids. They had kind of limited kids classes on Saturday during the event, and it was a pretty tight ship. They had 11 or 12 classes to run through that day, and so like daytime qualifying and practice, they ran through pretty quick. And they did a majority of the heat races during the day program, and even some of the main events, just to get classes out of the way so the night show could run smoothly. And then they did the night show. They had, I think it was a local country artist. She sang the national anthem really well. And just, I mean, I forgot what it was like to race in front of a crowd. That was cool and stuff. Get interviewed afterwards and have the crowd cheering and stuff. Like, I think that was, I'm glad Keegan was able to do so good there, because I think that was a rad experience for him and stuff.
That's sick.
And I know me and Bronson had a bunch of fun doing it. And the pro class was good. Like, it was deep and stuff. Another Bakersfield guy, John Lyles, he had some bad luck. He battled in his heat race. So like the way they did the main for Supermoto USA was they split the pro class into 3 heat races, and we did 4-lap heat race. So a quick, it was kind of more like dirt track style races, like short, fast qualifiers. And the top 4 went to a super final, and everyone else, like, there was no LCQ. So the track was so tight that having a grid of more than 12 dudes was pretty gnarly. So to have 20 dudes in the pro class would have been a shit show. And so they made it to where they were like, we're going to do a final, and essentially with the top 4 from each heat race. And then everyone else goes to a consolation, like, B final and stuff. So we were able to, I was able to win my heat race with Jake Thompson on my ass. Bronson won his heat race, and then Timmy V won his, but he had been battling with Lyles, and Lyles fell, and he did not remount and get up to 4th by the end of the heat race because it was so short and quick. And so Lyles won the B main, but I think he was bummed because he was feeling fast and froggy, and he wanted to be in the A main. But he did get, they took a couple of the guys from the B main to the super final, so he was still able to get in the super final.
That's so sick. I'd almost like, that's partially why I'm kind of bummed out that AMA is doing just the 1-rounder again. It's for kind of the same concept. It's like, I'm excited that it's only 1 round. You know, I only have to show up for 1 round and do good at 1 round. But it puts so much pressure on actually doing good in the 1 round. You know, if you run into something small or that kind of takes you out a little bit.
Right. So what Simpy's talking about is AMA used to have typically like 5-6 round series every year, and then COVID happened. Clearly, we did a single round, doubleheader for a weekend or something like that.
Right.
And that's what it looks like we're returning to here in 2024, which I get it. Turnout hasn't been strong.
Yeah, that, and just I think last year there was a lot of like, I don't want to call it mismanagement, but like just a lot of things were dropped and a lot of things didn't happen that needed to happen last year. So I think I almost feel like he needed to like disappear for a year and sort things out and come back stronger if he was going to continue holding supermoto races.
Right.
So it's cool that he's doing run race. I really wish he would have just kind of like helped throw emphasis onto NAS or something like that. That is actually like Jay and those guys put a lot into that race. I think it's something that's rad. And I hope that is really what takes off and can be, because I think what's so perfect about NAS is kind of like the same thing you're saying, Simpy, with a 1 weekend format is like, yeah, there's extra stress to it, but then it's also like maybe we can get the road racers that are doing Moto America to be able to find 1 week in a year to come out and ride Supermoto, or maybe we can find motocrossers that want to try it and stuff. It's kind of after as their season ends, they can come out and we can get guys that are maybe they wanted to try Supermoto, maybe never got the opportunity, stuff like that. And we saw that at some of the times, like the COVID AMAs and stuff, but it was also because of COVID, everyone was so cooped up, everyone wanted to get out and race. And I think we're in a different problem right now with just inflation and everything. I think motorsports in general is just a struggle.
I mean, I'm sure we'll have probably a pretty strong turnout for Tucson, just because it's the only round.
Yeah,
And
I
Tucson's
think so, too.
typically kind of like one of the more popular ones anyway.
I would just prefer to see it go to NAS. You know, I'd prefer to see that the guys that will attend that. I'd prefer to see them
Right.
go. And I think because I just think the whole idea, the purse, all the effort that goes into NAS and stuff, I think is going to be killer. Where the AMA weekend is going to be, from what I know, a traditional AMA weekend.
Right.
Stuff like winner's going to take home maybe $500, maybe if they're lucky. And,
Right.
the NAS, I mean, I made more than you would win in an AMA for getting third last year. So, and then the winner obviously gets a lot more and get a diamond ring and some more booze out of it. So I don't know. I just really like the idea of what NAS is. So that's where I guess I'm just bummed that AMA. It's like they've always been. It's like been SMEC versus AMA. It's always like there's this battle between promoters and stuff. And I don't necessarily know if it's between the promoters. I don't even think they dislike each other all that much. But it's hard because like SMEC puts so much into their races, and then they don't get the same talent that the AMA did naturally. And I don't know if it's just like there's a bias to the West Coast. That I mean, years ago there was a heavy bias of the talent on the West Coast. Now I think with like LaForge and Shane being on the East Coast and stuff, the East Coast isn't light on talent. But
No, definitely not. But there's a big gap between Shane and Jake and the rest of the field.
yeah.
A pretty big one, you know.
Well, last week at the SMEC race, they both DNF'd, so they gave people opportunity to get on the podium. So Jake had a problem. I heard he lost his rear brake pedal on the TM and was able to find like a spare part or didn't want to ride without his rear brake. And then Shane had to get off in qualifying that like ended up beating him up pretty bad. He tried to ride the first moto, still won, and then decided to call it a day. He felt so bad. So are you on the Alta, not the Stark? Wow. Oh, because they don't have the Stark with Supermoto Honda. Awesome.
No. It works really well.
But yeah, I was talking to JC. I don't know. I need to ask JC how you say his last name. It's Bernier or
Bernier. I don't
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Bernier.
So sorry,
Maybe.
JC, if we're butchering your last name, buddy. He's got a Stark too, and he's got it set up like he's got lugs on it, and Andriani set up the suspension. He's got clamps on it, and it's looking sweet. And he told me he rode around in the 70 horsepower mode, which blows my mind because I rode mine at 45, and I felt like it was just as fast as 450. So
Even on asphalt?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I don't know how like that thing had to be just a monster. And
Yeah.
He's a
Did you have heat problems the way Mike's on Bikes has been having heat problems?
You know, JC didn't. He said he rode like 40 minutes and drained the battery on it and stuff, which is pretty good. I feel like for running that kind of horsepower on the electric bike and on the Supermoto where you're just freaking wide open. So I was like, that's kind of impressive. And because he wasn't sure, like it was his first time riding the bike, he wasn't sure what the baseline was going to be and stuff. When I rode mine in Colorado, I'm not sure exactly what I used, but it wasn't. It was like pretty much about. I think I used 20% of the battery, and I practiced on it for about 15 minutes. So I was like, that's not bad. But he got. I think he got on the podium this weekend. But there's a new guy they got racing SMEC this year, Ian Hopper, who's been doing good. He's like running like all the classes, kind of like Andrew Miller does in the SMEC stuff, where he runs asphalt. And I don't know if I want to say I almost saw his results in the 250 class too, and open and stuff. Like he's a tick off of LaForge and those guys, but he's been like kind of like this new blood in the SMEC series. It's right there with Millier and stuff, and he's kind of got more of a moto background, which I like. But then I saw some pictures of him wearing a road race helmet and road race boots in the dirt section, and I kind of barfed in my helmet.
I don't blame you, bud.
Like he's a motocross, he knows better.
So do you know?
Go for it, Johnny.
Do you know who's leading the points in each class for SMEC?
Good question.
Because I know they're because Jake and Shane probably, I think they've only really finished one round, maybe two.
Yeah.
Because I know they pulled out of round, maybe was it round 1 or round 2? When it rained, they pulled off. Sounds like they didn't finish last weekend.
Yeah, so that another name I'm gonna mess up. It's like I want to say Jason, but it's like Geisen, Chacon, 740. He was like an amateur last year. He's leading the 250 championship over Steve Ingram this year. Right now.
No Eugene this year.
No, I don't know if he just retired from the injury last year. I'm not sure if he got back on a bike, to be honest. Since then. Sorry, I'm trying to look at stuff and stream bikes. See if I can make it just follow you guys around.
How am I 9 seconds off you, Simpy? You're an animal.
Dude, this backing in being easier. Oh my goodness, you can send it into corners now. It's like so much smoother and actually functional now.
Do you just hold your downshift down and it just keeps going?
I just mash it until I get to first gear, and then I have to try and get back up to second for the exit, because first gear doesn't have a lot of pull.
And right now in the SMEC 1 Open class, 450 class, JC's leading the championship over Millier by only 5 points. And
Hell yeah.
LaForge and that Ian Hopper guy I was just talking about. It's like that fresh blood. Danny Beard was back at a race. I think he's done 2 races this year. If I'm not mistaken. And I think he was a past SMEC championship guy. Either way, I haven't seen his name in the results in a couple years, so it's cool to see that he's back racing. Shane's only done 2 of the events, I think, for SMEC, so he's not really in the points.
Who's a better motorcycle rider? Jet Lawrence or Mark Marquez?
Jet, you high?
What if
Well,
you put him on
that's beside the
Supermoto?
point.
Say that again, Johnny.
What if you put him on a Supermoto?
Jet figures it out. And like
Yeah.
he would just smoke. He would smoke Marquez because of the dirt section. If it was asphalt only, then I'd give the nod to Marquez. Just because I think like the edge you have to have on the asphalt, it's just a small window at the top that you have to be able to find. That window is really hard. And those guys, they're so talented on the asphalt, but they can't cross over to dirt, where I feel like a dirt guy can learn to go fast on the asphalt, but you can't really teach a road racer to go fast on the asphalt. Or fast, fast on the dirt.
I've seen Mark do like some moto stuff, and he looked like a local A type guy, but it's hard to see speed on camera.
Yeah, I've seen more of like dirt track style stuff out of Marquez, not a whole lot of moto. There's a couple GP dudes that are sick on motos, like Crutchlow was good. The Aussie. Who's the current Aussie dude? MotoGP.
Are you thinking Jack
Yeah, Jack Miller.
Miller?
Yeah, he's gnarly on a motorbike stuff, and there's a couple of them, but like I think you put Jet on like because Stu did Supermoto back in the day, like '09, when he was like
Right.
doing Supercross only a year. He won his Supercross title, and
He did in 06 as well.
no, I don't think he ever. I think '09 was the only year he did Supermoto.
Stewart, you mean? Like James Stewart?
Yeah, Reed did.
Yeah, he did in
early.
He did in 06 for X Games.
No, he didn't. That was like Reed and Henry and those guys. Stu only did it the 1 year, and he didn't even get to the race because he fucked himself up in qualifying.
I thought he hit the wall. I thought that was 06, so maybe
No,
I'm wrong.
That was '09. But he was like, it took him 1 day to go just as fast as like the other factory Yamaha boys, with like Brandon Curry and Burkhart was on Yamaha that year, but he was like top dude in '09 and stuff. But it was just like you put the top Supercross guys on Sun, they'll figure it out. They're the supreme athletes on a motorcycle in my mind.
So you think like you get like Jet Lawrence and Kenny and those type of guys into this sport, you think they're just gonna smoke our top guys day one, or you think it would take
Not
a couple
day
days?
one, but it would, yeah, like within a couple
Day
days.
2 or 3.
2 or 3 days.
I just have a hard time seeing it not
Like,
like there's gonna be some guys that like they don't like, some moto guys don't have it to where like it's like they struggle to like find the trust and the feel on the asphalt. Other guys it's super natural. Like I feel like the way Jet Lawrence rides a motorcycle, he would be a natural to figure it out. Kenny probably would too. Guys like Tomac or like Hammerheads, they might struggle to like figure out how to go fast on the asphalt. But they'd obviously, I don't think Tomac would have a problem figuring it out, but I think I don't know if he has like the same natural balance and like, because like the asphalt's just it's a dance. It's not like just aggression, you know?
right, it's a lot of patience.
What say you, Johnny?
My opinion on that?
Yeah.
Like, so like if we get like Jet or Deegan, put him day one up against like Dustin or Lucas Hallbacher or Gage McAllister, I don't know. I don't think they would have it.
Yeah, I don't think day one though.
No, I don't think day one.
But it's like also like our top guys like McAllister and Hoffman, they ride like Supermoto a couple times a year. If you like put them onto ride Supermoto more often, I think they could rise to another level that would be like upper echelon, where like
Right.
maybe they are on that kind of same tier as those guys. Like they are that kind of special of a talent, I feel like.
Right, because I feel like seeing their talents, like you could, like it's so surprising that like, well, we haven't really ever got to see it in a real situation other than when Gage went to Nations and had a bad bike. But like, I feel like if Gage would have done a year doing S1GP, I feel like he would have probably been like top fives, no problem.
Yeah,
But I could be wrong.
probably. I mean, I would think he would figure it out. I think in the beginning he would probably definitely. It would be. I think Gage would be in the top 10 fairly easy. It's hard to say. Like, if he came in, like, if he like went over there like for real and was like on a bike, did a preseason testing and getting used to the bikes and riding some of those tracks, because that's another big thing over there. It's just the track knowledge and stuff. I think the last S1 in Poland was kind of a bit of an outlier, where it wasn't a track that's typically on the circuit and stuff. A lot of the guys hadn't really raced it and stuff. So I think that, and then I think that's, and Nick got his first top 10. I don't know if Nick was 10th overall or if it was just that 9th in that moto.
Yeah, he got a 9th. I don't know what the overall was or not.
But either way, I think that kind of shows like our tracks over here in America, usually they've been pop-up tracks more so than standard built specific tracks. Like we see that with how we've gone to Tucson for years and years, and it's a purpose-built kart facility with a permanent dirt section stuff, and it doesn't really change from year to year, and that's how a lot of the European tracks are. They have like the purpose-built sky sections, which are their own animal. So I think if you put Gage over there with a preseason, I think he's top 10 right away, and then works toward top 5s and can probably be a podium dude. But I don't know who else. Dustin on his good days could definitely be the same as Gage. But Dusty does like to tuck the front end too.
Old Dusty.
I think the solution is to have half of the Supermoto Cross Championship actually involve Supermoto. You have to qualify.
Yeah, every time
Supermoto
I hear him say that, I'm just like, Supermoto?
It's back. I just think they could have come up with a better name.
They're like, nah, it's dead. No one's gonna say nothing.
Fuckers.
It would be super interesting to see get some of them on bikes just to see how they do and see how quickly they do pick it up.
Yeah. No, I mean
people would love to see it. You know, if you got like a few of the, even if like it was the few of the top 10 guys, maybe not the top 2-3.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just think it's hard for the guys that are like the top caliber that have the rides. They're just, their sponsors aren't really gonna be like, yeah, go do this. I think they care so much about Supercross and that kind of stuff that it's really hard for them to justify like risking their guys going and doing something totally different. So it'd be cool. Like, I bet we could get someone like a Carson Brown where like his Red Bull deal is to like go out and try different stuff, get him to come to a Supermoto. Like, I don't think he beats the top dudes, but I bet he does a lot better than we'd want him to. You know?
That dude could ride anything though, so.
Yeah. But like you can see like he's like barely in the points in the motocross. You know, like even his home-ish track with Washougal, he was barely in the points and stuff. So that's like, it shows, that speaks to how gnarly moto is. And I think like I'd love to find a way to get more of that moto bred blood back in the Supermoto, because I think that's really like, to me, that's the core of it, is doing both, where the Supermoto clubs around America are definitely doing well with asphalt only. They're definitely turning into motard clubs and stuff. A lot of road racers like the cheaper way to practice. They get to really work on like good technique and letting a bike dance around underneath you, where you do that on a 1000 or a 600 and it goes sideways. It's a lot. That's a big fuck up and a lot of expense to cover, where you do that on a Supermoto and you're like, oh, I messed up my sliders.
I bet my bars a little.
Except for like Colorado's Supermoto series, like this year they've gone to having live timing. They got a transponder company that I don't think is a company based out of Colorado, but their like production facility is at least based out of Colorado, which is kind of cool. It's like local to them. Stuff. West Hold. I need to look it up. Stuff. I don't want to butcher their name, but now they got live timing and stuff. And I think that's kind of cool to see, like our localish club go to that. And then Cascadia, I think they still have, it's more like Supermoto compared to Motard, but I think their asphalt only is still a decent class. Smek is, I think the Motard class is the biggest class right now.
Yeah, they stack that class, man. There's like 40 guys on the grid.
Yeah.
So do we know location and date for NAS?
Yeah. It's September 21st, 22nd.
Yep.
And it's back at Norman, Oklahoma, which I think is cool.
Yeah, I'm excited because like
I DNF
we didn't
the
get.
start, guys.
I saw.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it to be back there. And what I'm really hoping for is we get the same dirt section we had for practice last
Oh my
year. Because, oh, good Lord, Butterman.
Just don't even touch your
Okay,
throttle
okay.
till it drops. Like it seems like our clutches aren't working.
Yeah.
It's insane.
These are like the most inopportune breaks in the conversation. It's because we keep jumping the start in this damn video game. You're not gonna let me back in? You're not gonna restart it for me?
I did.
Okay. Okay. No touching.
But yeah, if we get that same dirt section, I was feeling really good on it. I was really excited to run that because I think, I don't know, I felt like that would have helped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I just had a really bad year last year, so anything's going to be an improvement.
Oh my god.
Gosh, dang it. How?
When the red lights go out, doesn't mean the green light's gonna come on.
This game's rigged.
Yeah, something's going on with our clutches. I don't know.
They're fried.
Your guys' mod fucked up clutch use in this game.
No, I think, but they moved NAS like a month ahead. And so that's cool. I mean,
So will you
maybe
be
the one benefit
able
of
to
us
up to
not
that?
doing nations is, yeah, NAS is a possibility for me depending on how bad my injuries are. I didn't jumpstart, but I looped it.
What was that line? Simpy through the dirt?
What you talking about?
I'm gonna try this new line that I found.
Oh, I just high-sided. How do you high-side in that corner?
We'll have to ask our current resident high side expert, Butterman.
I don't like high sides, dude. Mm-mm.
I don't think anybody likes them.
No. They're
Is Dawson
atrocious.
still here?
Yeah.
Hey, Dawson.
Hey.
Yeah, Dawson. Who do you think the most talented motorcycle racers are? Are you gonna say something dumb like a flat tracker?
No, for like what
Overall.
aspect?
I mean, like kind of like we're talking like if you're gonna take a motorcycle racer and put them on a supermoto, and they're gonna reach the top level the quickest, who would it be?
It's probably got to be the 2-Mac.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. You
Well, I
guys
mean,
were talking about
motocross.
Jet. I would think Jet could be the strong one there.
And I'm not saying this because I'm just a Deegan fanboy, but I think he's got that, like,
He got that dog in him?
yeah, he got that dog in him, dude.
I mean, I love the way that kid rides, but I can't listen to him. Like, what
No,
if he
you
came
ju-
to a
that's like-
supermoto and he talked, dude?
You just don't, you don't listen to him. You just watch him race and then turn
Yeah.
it off when he gets on the podium.
I've heard
Yeah.
that the podium stuff's like an act, like it's a like
Probably.
for their brand in a sense, and he's not that douchey in real life. I hope that's the case.
It'd be cool to like have him actually come out and do Supermoto and he's actually just a homie.
Yep.
Okay.
You guys are just putting space on me.
And so, Simpy, you've haven't got to really ride Supermoto this year because you decided to change your life.
Yeah.
Is it because
gotta
you
turn
got
it
a
upside down
girlfriend
every now and then.
or what?
Oh yeah, duh. You gotta chase higher money when you get a girlfriend. Shit's expensive.
Gotta feed him. Jesus, Simpy.
Yeah, no, I'm super bummed out. I missed California. That looked like it was a really cool round, and like I love the idea of actually racing in front of like spectators and having that whole aspect of it.
Oh,
Because
God.
I haven't actually ever done that for Supermoto. I've had a flat track race where there was spectators and stuff, and that was so cool.
Mm.
But Supermoto's always been like, like local ones or like the AMA ones. There's not really anybody there. And NAS last year was like the first round, and it was like super cold and rainy, so I wouldn't want to even be a spectator there necessarily.
Yeah, we didn't even watch the other motos when we weren't on the grid.
Yeah, it was so brutal
Hiding
cold,
in
that
the
one.
tent.
Yeah, so hopefully NAS being like a month earlier, we can avoid that weather. So
Yeah, that'd be nice. So I mean, that's definitely an aspect that would be super cool, and I'm bummed out I missed, but there's just no way I could have made it happen. But
the other race I feel like we should talk about is that Mangalese track in Quebec. Probably butchered that name as well, but that track looks sick. Bronson went up there and did that. That was also Supermoto Quebec's NAS qualifier. And that track is sick. They used to do X Fest at it, and they'd get a bunch of Americans up there and have a huge purse, and it was like this big, huge race. And the track was kind of built with Supermoto in mind, where there's like dirt sections on and off exits that like just flow with the layout. Got elevation change, really fast parts to tight technical asphalt sections. It just looks like the coolest facility. So if you guys are interested, definitely look up Bronson on that. He has, I think, some YouTube's posted of it, and the socials have some videos of it. That track, I'd love to get up there if we could afford that road trip.
yeah, well, it'd be cool to just go see Canada too.
Oh, Canada.
In Quebec, it's like, it almost feels like you're in Europe. It's like speaking French.
There's good fishing in Quebec.
You're just gonna like talk like Letterkenny quotes the whole time if we go to Quebec.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna get away with this year going to like 20 minutes of Colorado Supermoto and then NAS.
Oh yeah, you had to take me to the hospital, so I ruined your whole NAS qualifier too.
So no Tucson for Simpy?
No, I think I can swing Tucson. I kind of have to because Zach's talking that shit. He thinks he's got my number this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a 250. Dude, did you guys talk to him about his like what happened to him on his trip home from Colorado?
No.
Dude, so like he stayed in Moab on his way back, which I've never seen Moab as like a sketchy town or anything like that. It's definitely much more touristy than it used to be, so I don't know. But he hits me up and he's like, dude, I got back and my bike is out of fuel, out of coolant. The radiators are melted, plastic's melted on it. So like he was staying in the hotel in Moab and someone like fired up his bike in the parking lot and it just like ran until it ran out of gas and like overheated, pushed most of the coolant out. The radiator like shrouds and the radiator louvers, like the radiator covers, those little like black air ducts, they were just like melted.
What?
Yeah. And he was saying he was like trying to get footage from the hotel to see like what happened. I haven't been able to talk to him since then and see if he actually did. But like he's got a like he was thinking, he was like, I kind of want to build the 250F and make it more powerful after like running against the 450s in Colorado and being like, fuck, this thing's slow. And you're at elevation in Colorado too. And so I'm like, well, I'd almost say you got to rebuild it now just to be safe because that thing got too hot.
Yeah.
Like,
well, damn
no way
it,
I'm
dude.
trusting
Now,
that head didn't work.
was he gonna have like a stack 250 now?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it'll be AMA legal. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
It won't be.
I'm sure
it
he'll
won't be
pass
no
tech.
350, dude.
I've seen 350s be AMA legal.
Nuh-uh. But yeah, no, I mean, you do gotta like show that. I mean, I think
You're four.
Buffum's plan on doing Tucson, so
You.
I don't think it's gonna be that easy for you.
Ay, ay, ay.
And Buffum's got that. I mean, those guys on the Hondas, they're scared of your stock Yamaha with 100 some hours, dude, because they both got built Hondas, or Clayson's plan on building. So you're gonna be having to go up against built Hondas. It's just a fact.
But
man.
is Clayson there yet? At Simpy's level?
He thinks he is.
I mean, Simpy hasn't rode much, so
Yeah, he might be. I'm not saying he isn't. And
thing Simpy's
I
got
haven't-
going for him is natural talent. Makes you want to punch him in the face.
it's a supposed a natural talent.
Are you telling me that you put in a whole lot of work when I ride with you every weekend and see that you don't put in a whole lot of work?
It's hidden work. It's behind closed doors. You wouldn't get it. Super secret.
It's behind closed doors. He never washes the bike.
Yeah.
Never adjusts the chain. Sag, what's that?
Never heard of her. Yeah, it happens. It happens at its own pace. You just gotta trust the process, Butters.
Okay.
Felt pretty good riding the 450 in Colorado, though.
You look
Felt
good when
pretty
I was
comfy on
behind
it.
you on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I had some issues in the dirt, though. I mean, it's been a while since I've ridden a 450 Supermoto in dirt.
Dude, that's where the Stark, I feel like, was cheating, was the dirt section. Because, like, you can hear traction brake on the Stark, so it's so easy to really just kind of, like, fine-tune. Like, you know that triple at IMI exiting the inner dirt section. That thing's tricky, especially on a 450, because it's like, you're just... If you short shift it, if you leave it in first, it doesn't matter. It's just going to spin all the way until the lip when it finally has enough force to load the suspension and stuff. And then so then it's like this last second grabs and takes off, and you can do that like 40-foot triple or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And the Stark, it was just like so easy. It was so easy. Stuff like I could like not even try it, just be like, it just tuck it.
That's so crazy.
Stuff like the asphalt, I feel like the Stark's lacking because like you don't have a transmission. I feel like I use a transmission to my advantage so much, like, and it'll be different ways. Like sometimes revving out my gear is my way to keep the chassis calm in a certain corner. Maybe it's short shifting and being in the torque and stuff. Like you sometimes it's like it's nice to have the power be modified in a certain way, and you use your transmission to like gain that advantage to you, where the Stark doesn't have the transmission. So it's hard. It has have power at will on the throttle, but it doesn't have like you can't use it for the decel in the regen, they call it on the Stark. It's like kind of your decel. I cranked it up to 100 and it kind of felt like maybe the decel of a 250F. It wasn't much. I'd say it was more of a two-stroke-esque decel than it was a four-stroke-esque. So that made it really like, if I could get the Stark to feel like it had 450 style decel when you chop the throttle, I think that would probably make it feel like more of a weapon on the asphalt to me. But I struggled with it on the asphalt in that aspect. But the dirt section, oh boy, it was just like I could go anywhere I wanted, make power anywhere I wanted. It had, because like on the sheet, it's like, say it has, I wrote it in the 45 setting, but that, like a gas bike, it's a 450, has 60 horsepower. Well, that 60 horsepower is a very small window. Like, you're never riding that. And stuff. So, like, the Stark at, like, 45, like, it's 45, it's on tap all the time, and you're just able to modulate. And it's so sick, and I mean, that's why I feel like it feels just as fast as a 450. I put it in 60 and I turn it back off after. I don't think I've left my Stark in 60 horsepower for more than a minute at this point, because every time I just start being like, this is dumb. It gets so fast, like dumb fast. Front wheels not touching the ground, things lit up. It's ridiculous.
So let's say you get suspension on it, whatever mods you want on it. Other than the engine, is there anything about the gas bike that you think you would like miss or would be beneficial? You know what I mean?
Like I'm saying, just like the way I use the transmission to my advantage. And
Yeah.
like it's so big in Supermoto. That's such a huge factor and stuff, because there's times where it's under load, it's decelling into the corners. You use it to bind the chassis to keep pressure on the tires and keep traction and stuff. And when you don't have that, and it's kind of like more freewheeling, like you're in a super tall gear and you're not really downshifting into a corner, you're on your front brake, and it's just putting a lot more emphasis on your front brake actually holding and stuff. And stuff. So, and then like the importance of like loading it, and then you ride it differently, where with the transmission you can scrub speed with just the tranny, and you can short shift it to gain an advantage to a section and build the power. And it's like it just broadens where the power is in your throttle. It's like the Stark, I have the throttle, but I don't have that transmission to modulate it for me and stuff. And so it gives me like different tones of that modulation with my hand. And I feel like that I'm lacking that with the Stark. And maybe if Stark was like, okay, you can have more, or like build some Supermoto specific maps that have more decel, maybe that helps. But I still feel like on the asphalt, having that full manual transmission to really separate it. But then like I'm saying, in the dirt it's advantage, because then it's like there's no risk of stalling, there's no nothing. It's like it's power all the time. There's no missing a gear and stuff. It's just perfect and stuff. And even though it's perfect in the dirt, that's where I don't know how to explain it well enough. It's like on the asphalt, I guess it's just a way, like I don't really use my rear brake on the asphalt other than corners. I really feel like it's a benefit to help me get a better entry angle, or it's a corner that I don't downshift into. I'll use my rear brake on the Supermoto, but for the most part, I don't use my rear brake on a Supermoto on the asphalt. In the dirt section, I'm all over the thing, but asphalt, I barely ever touch my rear brake. I feel like most time I carry a lot better mid-corner speed if I don't touch it and stuff, and it's just to get additional angle into the corner. And usually it's because of how I'm using my transmission to whatever I feel like is the optimal advantage that determines if I use my rear brake or not.
Yeah. I definitely have a bad habit of over rear braking.
Yeah, you do. I want to take your rear brake off your bike.
You know what I also need to practice too is just keeping my feet on the pegs, especially in like asphalt.
Ryan tried my start on just like the motocross track, and he figured out that he like fully takes his foot off the peg to like hit his rear brake and smash it. Like he just like takes his foot off and just smashes it into the rear brake. So, 'cause, like my Stark has a handbrake, because I figured it's a different bike, I might as well make it real different. And
yeah, I went to the first dirt corner and like tried to hit it and lost balance because I didn't have that point to push off with my foot. So like I almost crashed because I didn't have anywhere to like push against.
Funny.
But
so how does that handbrake feel like?
That took the longest for me to get used to on the Stark, of it being like so different. And stuff, that's just so many years of me riding the bike, because like it didn't take me long to not get used to having a shifter and stuff, because like the power is always kind of like where you want it, and that's really the only reason I use my transmission in the dirt and stuff, is to get the power where I want. And so if it's always there, then I never feel the need to go for it. But the rear brake, oh man, I'm still like, especially brake checks in the air, it's just like my foot just moves to the thing to like do the brake check, and it's so hard to just like do it at my, but then it's almost like I still almost naturally would brake check even with my foot movement, because I go to grab the clutch when I brake check in the air, and so I would grab the rear brake in the air anyway. But my foot was still moving, like it was hitting the ghost rear brake pedal.
You can't set it up where there's a master cylinder supplying it to both?
I'm sure you probably could, but they sell it, they market it as an option where it's either or. And I kind of like it because it's like it's really easy to like work on like good foot placement on the bike, because then you really, it's like I can kind of put my foot on that right peg and just leave it and be like, I can ride on the balls of my toes and hold proper form, instead of like when you're riding moto, it's like you're constantly doing this dance of you're trying to like hold that more modern perfect technique that you see the Lawrences and all those guys do now, where they're like riding on their toes, and then you gotta move your foot forward and be on your rear brake, and you move your foot back. Same thing with a shifter, that you're like constantly doing this dance forward and back with your foot and stuff. In the Stark, you're able to kind of just like, there's no shifter, there's no rear brakes, so you're able to just like kind of work on putting your feet and your ankles where you want to be able to absorb the loads and be able to like, it's like you get better reach out of everything. Like you're able to like extrapolate like almost more energy out of the bike and stuff with your feet in the right position.
Whoa. Started swapping, coming into the dirt.
I got the
There goes my
I
lap.
got the shadow box of death.
Me too.
What causes that? I get that all the time.
You have to restart the game. I'm not sure what causes it, but I know restarting the game is the only way to get rid of it.
All right, boys, let's wrap this up.
Okay.
Alright.
Any other races that happen that we need to talk about?
I know. Well, so like the Reno area, NorCal, they have like a pretty cool like mini motard supermoto series going on. Like I think Shasta. I'm not sure. I really want to. I need to talk. We need to hit up our guy Jake Thompson and see a little bit and learn a little bit more about the series. I don't know if Shasta's the same. If they're running their own races, there's like a Shasta Supermoto, and then there's this NorCal championship too. That I don't know if they're two separate ones. If it's the same thing. If it's a rename from last year, not exactly sure. Either way, like Jake Thompson and Cameron Bellamy and I think Mike Home Bikes did one or two of them. Stuff. It's a cool series, so that's another series that's been going on and stuff. So I hate to like not talk about them, but we need to get one of their guys on to really kind of let us know what they're doing and stuff, because it does look like they got some good racers and some sweet tracks.
That'd be pretty cool.
But yeah, there's still Supermoto going on in America. AMA might not have much of a series this year, but SMEC's been killing it like they always do. We got NAS to look forward to. Cascadia, Colorado, Supermoto USA. The Shasta, NorCal guys, I'm not sure exactly what they're calling
Get
themselves.
to the gate, Simpy. Why are you guys way up there?
Because you're gay. Oh, shit.
Well, at least you can jumpstart on this track. Clutch works.
Mine didn't. I rolled forward, but I caught it in time. Whoa.
Dude, I'm so bad at Supermoto in this game. I'm bad at this game in general.
Woo!
You go on 350 still?
Yeah. Well, that's
Cheater.
fast. Oh, jeez. Okay.
Oh, thought I was gonna make up some time, and I took the front right behind you guys.
Oh no! I went off in Narnia.
Whoa. Fall down, Butters. Fall down, Butters.
Why did you do that?
It worked?
Yeah. What the fuck?
Sorry, we gave Sippy the pass.
Yeah, I saw that coming. Well, that turned in too hard.
Dude, I got a wheelie.
Yeah, this dirt
This
section
dirt-
is
yeah.
good track.
I feel like the beta 19 update helped. Oh,
In this dirt section, you turn up the E-road a ton, and damn, that was. Well, you didn't ride away, but that was sick.
You fuck. Jesus.
prick. I thought I'd sat up enough. That was some of the best Supermoto riding I've done the whole night. The rest of my screen sharing is gonna be trash, dude.
Oh shit, I think I still have mine recording too. That's gonna be a long fucking recording. I should stop that.